So yes, I'm the chairman. I get to introduce this rock star. So one of the things I have to tell you at the beginning though, you know, I've been admiring him and we try to have this mutual admiration society year in and year out. And now I know that he also likes to sing. And he sings almost as badly as I do. So I actually was wondering whether he wanted to join me, and no. I only do that St. Patty's Day. But you know, he's been in Washington for a relatively short period of time and has done amazing things. He reached across the aisle. He's dedicated to reforming the criminal justice system. And right now in his 21 county tour, he's dealing with all the issues that affect us, we New Jerseyans in Washington, D.C. He's working for our veterans. He's working to improve the environment. He's running up and down the coast to make sure that our waters don't look like those in Rio. And you know, Michigan. Or Michigan, right? Yeah. So having someone, well, having Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman in D.C. is tremendous for us, but having our senator is really just a fortune and a blessing for us that we should all be grateful for. He is, as we all know, one of the great orators of our time, as the Congresswoman mentioned. And so, even though I love the microphone in my hand, I'm going to turn it over to him because I guarantee he'll do a better job. Thank you, Senator.
All right. We were whispering to each other about past campaign office openings we've done when we had, you know, 30, 40, 50 people. This is really one of the more inspiring sights I have seen on this entire campaign trail, and I've been all over the country. I want to thank everybody gathered here. I really want to thank the people that listened to Peg. Peg, you had like 15, 20 people that listened to you that did cross the street. God bless you all on the other side of the street. I'm going to come over there and hug those who want hugs. All right. First of all, I just want you to know that this is an intrepid warrior here. She is not just active in the 100 days before a campaign. She is non-stop, 24. In fact, PEG stands for prodigiously engaged gal because she is always about building the party and knows that the party should not be built just when the music's playing and everybody's paying attention, that the real success comes from the hard work where nobody's watching, that you do candidate to candidate, day to day, and I'm just so proud to be your friend, most of all. And if you've never been drunk dialed by Peg, it is the catch her on St. Patty's Day late at night, and she's calling you, Cory, you need to work harder. Always pushing. And I just want to thank Zenon, her aide-de-camp. Zenon, you were so powerful. You sound like you should be on the periodic table, like, you know, next to boron. There's Zenon. And I just want everybody to help me out here. I don't know if you all knew. Most people think Zenon is Latino or black. He's not. He's Greek. And just in case you didn't know that, he is definitely not a black man. He's not Korean. You are Greek, right? Are you proud of your great Greek heritage? So then I just want you all to help me out. Now, I love Greece. It's one of my favorite places on the planet Earth, and I love the Greek community in New Jersey. And for many of you who don't know how to say thank you in Greece, we're going to say thank you. Now I learned this because a friend of mine told me, hey Cory, I want you to know a man named Harry. His first name is F. Harry Stowe. And so that's how you say thank you, F. Harry Stowe. Okay, so I want everybody here at the count of 3 to say that man's name, F. Harry Stowe, F. Harry Stowe, to Zenon to thank him. Ready? 1, 2, 3. F. Harry Stowe. Hello. All right, now look, I want to start just telling a simple story that is one of my favorite stories about one of my heroes who hangs on the wall in my Senate office. I have a picture of Mahatma Gandhi, and I'm actually not sure if this is an apocryphal story or if it's actually a real story, but it's one of my favorite stories on leadership. And Mahatma Gandhi was sitting in a small tent waiting for audiences of people who were waiting to see him, lining up to see him, waiting in the hot Indian sun. And a woman was waiting with her son who was starting to have a little bit failing health, and he brought her son in after waiting in a long line, walked up to Gandhi and said, Mahatma, you talk so much about dietary discipline. Would you please tell my son to stop eating sugar? And he'll listen to you, he'll eat more healthy. Please tell him to stop eating sugar. And Gandhi looked at the woman with compassion and love in his eyes, then looked at the little boy, then looked back at the woman and said, no, I will not. And she seemed really disappointed, and she started to talk. He goes, no, I will not, but come back in 2 months and ask me again. And so she went away a little dejected, took her son out. 2 months later, she waits in the long line again. She gets to the front of the line, she enters the tent and says, Mahatma, I'm back as you instructed. Would you please tell my son to stop eating sugar? And this time Gandhi gets up from where he was sitting, walks over to the woman, looks at her with love and compassion, and looks at the boy, puts his hand on the boy's shoulder, and what a moment for the boy. The Mahatma Gandhi is touching him, and then he says with patience and love, my son, you must stop eating sugar. And the boy was obviously affected. He heard these words from one of the greatest heroes of the planet Earth. And the woman was satisfied. She thanked Gandhi. She turned to begin to leave, and then she stopped. And she didn't want to be disrespectful, but she had to ask the question. And she turned around and said, please forgive me, Mahatma, but why wouldn't you just tell my son to do that 2 months ago? And Gandhi looked almost bemused by the question, and he said simply, because 2 months ago, I was eating sugar. I tell you that story because that to me is one of the greatest examples of leadership. And I'm telling you right now, leaders in our country, as much as we want to exalt the leaders we read about in our history book, as much as we want to give in to what I think is wrong, and the great Congresswoman knows this great man theory of history, that we are where we are because great men descended from Mount Olympus, Kennedy, King, Washington, Hamilton, but that's not the truth. That's not the leadership that has gotten us where we are. The leadership that's gotten us where we are is ordinary Americans who have done extraordinary acts of grace, decency, love, and leadership. People who didn't just look at the world and condemn it or curse it or sink into cynicism about what was, but people who said, I'm going to take responsibility. And that's the choice we get to make every day, every hour, every moment of our lives. We have a choice to make, to accept conditions as they are or take responsibility for changing them. And if you take responsibility, you can't get overwhelmed and allow your inability to do everything to undermine your determination just to do something. We saw already, now the Congresswoman and I have been supporting Secretary Clinton from the dawning of her campaign and working hard. I don't know if you all know, but Congresswoman Combs, she's considered the James Brown of New Jersey. She's the hardest working person in Congress. She happens to be the only woman in our delegation. I don't know if there's a correlation there or not. But we've been working hard for Secretary Clinton from the earliest of days. But I'm telling you right now that when it comes to this campaign, one of the great lessons was seen from the Bernie Sanders campaign. You know, everybody wants to decry big money in politics. Everybody wants to decry the Koch brothers, the dark money. But it's one thing to curse the darkness. It's another thing to light a small candle. Here, Bernie Sanders raised record amounts of cash because individuals in this country decided, well, I'm not going to be able to give $1 million. I can't even give $1,000. But I'm not going to sit here and do nothing. I'm going to give $1 or $2 or $4 and $5. And in the aggregate, it had tremendous change. Bernie Sanders changed our party's platform. He changed the national conversation, and he made Hillary Clinton more ready to take on Donald Trump in the general election. And so my point right now is, don't allow your inability to do everything to undermine your determination to do something. Don't get caught up in a state of sedentary agitation when you're so upset about the world out there, but you don't get up and do something about it. Now, the beautiful thing about this county, you have to understand that years ago, Peg and I, people were telling her, oh, it's so nice, Peg, what you're trying to do, but don't worry, the Democrats in Hudson County blue, the Democrats in Union County blue, we're gonna win and steer the state. But what Peg and so many folks here have shown is that this party is strong all over the state of New Jersey. Do not count this county out. We are a rising blue county. And when I see Andrew, who is a testimony to what we need right now, Nobody gave him a shot. People thought he was like a snowball on his way to visit Beelzebub. And no way he was going to make it. But the reality is he showed. It wasn't party leadership, it wasn't senators, it wasn't a big named people. He did it the old-fashioned way. He reminded me, frankly, of how I got started in politics, running for Central Ward councilman in the earliest days of my career as a 20-something, going against a guy who'd been in office for years and years and years. The way we won that election was person to person, volunteers from high school students all the way to senior citizens, giving up their time, giving up their effort. And so it's nice to have a big crowd here. But I'm telling you, when Darren Russo stands up, when Dr. Rodriguez stands up, when these folks come out, you have to understand this is what's going to build a great party. This is what's going to make change in our neighborhoods, in our communities, our parks, our schools, the things that affect our lives today. This is what's important. I'm going to talk about Hillary Clinton in a second and the congresswoman who's on the ballot. But I cannot emphasize to you enough that it is our local leaders, and we lose local elections because of this. People walk into the ballot box and they vote for the presidential candidate. They may come down and vote for the congressional candidate, but you know this is true. Thousands, tens of thousands of New Jerseyans do that and walk out of the polling spot. Yep. And what they end up doing is they don't understand. They weaken our party because the president, I talked to Secretary Clinton, she knows that if the counties around our country is making, that's what the foundation that she stands on. So please, if you want to get involved in this election, I want you to get involved in the Hillary Clinton campaign. And I've talked to people who've gotten up, left their homes, moved to Brooklyn or Ohio. One of the best ways you can help Hillary Clinton is to get involved with Darren and Maria's campaigns right now. Yeah. Because if you get someone to vote for them, they're going to vote for the rest of the ticket. And what I want to do is I don't want Andrew to be lonely. I don't want him to be the exception. I want him to be the rule. So please leave here today making a commitment. If you haven't met these local candidates, where's Brother Jacob? There he is. If you haven't met these local candidates, go up to them. Ask for a picture with them. Why? Because you post a picture with them on your Facebook page and introduce them, that's 100 people, 1,000 people that are going to get to know them. If you take a picture with me, please take a picture with the local candidates who are running and elevate them on your social media. Will you do that for me? Please do that for me. Now, I would be remiss, though. I would be remiss, and I'm going to try to obey the rules of my congresswoman, who it's like having an older sister watching out for me every day in Congress. She treats me so well. This is how I know she loves me, because when I do right, she lifts me up. When I do wrong, she tells me about it. I don't know what you're doing, Cory. We need to talk. You got some explaining to do, Cory. So I just want to say I'm gonna obey her rules, because if we are a party that is just about what we're against, that's not a winning. If it's just about, hey, we got to win because we're against Donald Trump, that's not who we are. We have always been a party with a purpose. We're not Democrats because we like the club. Not that I don't like hanging out with Peg. I like going bowling with Peg. But we are. We'll debate that later. She's like, who won? We have different memories of that, different recollections. But we are a party with a purpose. We are a look at our history as a party. We're a young party. Haven't been around as long as the Republicans have. But we are a party that was formed in a way that has fought for the greatest advancements of our nation. Think about this. We're the party of civil rights. We're the party of voters' rights. We're the party of workers' rights. We're the party of women's rights. We're the party of environmental movement. We are the party. We are the party of public education. Thank you very much. And now we are the party of Medicaid and Medicare. Thank you. Yes. So now we are the party that's still fighting for real things and real folks. We're the party trying to raise the minimum wage. We're the party that's trying to say Social Security has got to get better, not be cut or privatized. We're the party that says the cost of college, excuse my language, is too damn high. We're the party that says if you work a full-time job, you shouldn't live under the poverty line. We're the party that says if you're starting a small business, we shouldn't be looking at oil companies and big corporations that are getting all these tax loopholes for moving things overseas. That small business people should have fair taxation and have opportunities to start businesses. We are the party that says we shouldn't be rolling back civil rights or voting rights. See what's going on in North Carolina, but advancing voting rights. We're the party that says that things like Citizens United need to be overturned so that we have fair elections. And so I just want to say something about Secretary Clinton. You know, I'm tired of people giving in to this. And by the way, when you yield, words have such power. When you repeat what the enemy or the attackers are saying, oh, she's not popular, or for some reason you repeat negative things about her, please understand, Hillary Clinton is a woman that has been around on the political stage for about 40 years. And since she was First Lady of Arkansas, I talked to Chelsea Clinton about this. She remembers as a little girl growing up hearing the most vile and disgusting things being launched at her mother. And so for 40 years, she has been fighting for children, for education, for seniors, for health care. She's been fighting globally. And in fact, she's a person that's been fighting that every time she tries to move forward, they try to push her back. And she's lost some battles. She lost. Before there was Obamacare, there was Hillary Care, and she lost. But every time she loses, you all know this, a failure is not final unless you give up. And she has never given up. She's risen to occasion after occasion. Even when she's lost to folks like Barack Obama in a primary, she didn't give up. She came back and she showed what grace and magnanimity to go into his administration and fight for this country. And so I want you all to know that I love that Barack Obama said this, because I was talking about this on the stump all the time. I was talking about how she embodies so many of the ideals of past presidents. You know, we had Lincoln say, "A house divided cannot stand." She's like, "Let's not divide this country." I quoted it in my convention speech when the founders of this nation said, "We are a nation that must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." She has shown that sacred honor. And I talk about Teddy Roosevelt on the stump. I still remember standing with her at a rally, and I said, "Look, we know what the saying is. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or how the doer of deeds could have done better. It's the man that is in the arena whose face is marred with sweat and dirt and blood." And then I had the audacity to question the words of a United States president. I love Teddy Roosevelt and his quotes about the man in the arena. But I'm telling you right now that sometimes that man in the arena has got to be a woman. And so I say to my brothers and sisters here in Somerset County, we have work to do. About 95 days are left for us to win this election. And it is not a one-person election. There's not just a president and a vice president. There's not just a congresswoman on the ballot. But we need to go up and down this ballot. From great county leaders, from an amazing sheriff. We've got to make sure that we show in this county that we are going to give this county the blues so badly that even this county's going to have the blues, and even B.B. King is going to be jealous. We're going to make a mood indigo here. Can we do this together? Will we win in November? Will we turn this county blue? Let's take it home.
One more round of applause for this most amazing session. So you guys heard it. Next step is work. 94 days. John Evans is here. He's the executive director of the party. He should identify himself so that you can reach out to him and come to headquarters and volunteer. And Ben Auletta. Thanks, Ben Auletta. again for your sound and your assistance. With that said, enjoy your Saturday.
Hold on, I'm sorry, Peg. We need to get a picture with the candidates together.
Yes, sir.
You gotta get a picture first. And then please, get your selfies with the candidates. Put them on Twitter, Facebook. Make them sing on your Snapchat. And we gotta get these candidates out there. So use your social media to help elevate them, please.
You have your phone? Yeah.
All right, a picture with the candidates. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Speaking of putting on your, can I get you all on my Snapchat real quick? I gotta do what I said I was gonna do. All right, here we go. All right, everybody's gotta be quiet. Then when I spin around, you gotta make a lot of noise.
Oh my God, you're so heavy.
I'm here in Somerset County with some great local leaders and a lot. Yes, all right.
Just taking the picture.
It gets wicker in there.
You're good. Put it up on social media, everybody, please. Identify who they are. All right. Maria, Darren.
That's picture. Can we get a picture with you?